In this Red Gaming Tech video, we are here to discuss the Nintendo Switch and Nvidia. Now, of course, it's no secret that AMD managed to grab pretty much the entire console market by getting their GPU inside both the PS4 and, of course, the Xbox One. But that all changed with the Nintendo Switch, which, as we all know, makes use of the Tegra GPU, or SoC to be more exact. But prior to that, Nvidia swore off the console market. They wiped their hands of it and said, you know what, we're done here. But obviously the Switch came along and it has been a massive success. And in a recent investor Q&A, Jensen Huang, the of course CEO of Nvidia, discussed their view on the console market now versus a few years ago. And he said, quote, "Consoles is not really a business to Nvidia. It's a business to console manufacturers, and we're selected to work on these consoles. And if it makes sense and the strategic alignment is great and we're in a position to be able to do it because the opportunity cost of building a game console is quite high, the number of engineers who know how to build computing platforms like this, and in the case of Nintendo Switch, it's just an incredible console that fits in such a small form factor. And it could both be a mobile gaming device as well as a console gaming device. It's just really quite amazing, and they just did an amazing job." Somebody asked me a few months ago before its launch how I thought it was going to do, and of course without saying anything about it, I said that it delighted me in a way that no game console has done in the last 10 to 15 years, and it's true. This is a really innovative product and really quite ingenious. If you ever have a chance to get it in your hands, it's just really delightful. And in that case, the opportunity to work on it was just really too enticing. We really wanted to do it, and it always requires deep strategic thoughts because it took several hundred engineers to work on, and they could be working on something else like all of the major initiatives we have. And so we have to be mindful about the strategic opportunity cost that goes along with these, but in the case of the Nintendo Switch, it's just a home run. I'm so glad I did it, and it was the perfect collaboration for us. Now obviously, the work that Nvidia did, this is out of quote by the way, is not just on the chip itself, which did obviously have a lot of work. They also created the API and other software support for the Switch. So yeah, and obviously it's a custom chip as well, you know, they didn't just give them like one off the shelf, like there you go, had to be tweaked a little bit, you know, worked on. The power consumption obviously of the Switch is quite low in terms of, you know, the impact, not necessarily, you know, how much power it uses when charging, you get what I mean. So yeah, Nvidia undoubtedly are definitely happy with their investment, but it obviously was a bit of a risk for them. You know, as Jensen pointed out, it was a bit of a risk. You have to think about the opportunity cost, because you're not just talking about the money spent here, because, you know, you could argue that's not that much to a big company like Nvidia, but they only have a certain amount of engineers, and those engineers only have a certain amount of time. So, you know, they could be working on the Switch, or they could have worked on Volta, just for example. And obviously, I'm not saying they took good shit off Volta, I'm just giving it as an example that you have to think about what to do with these man hours and man power, obviously. And undoubtedly, the gamble with the Switch has paid off dividends, at least so far. The Switch is doing really well for itself, and Nintendo have proven me wrong in a lot of ways, because I was quite skeptical about it, and not really because of the hardware. As a handheld, as I've said many times, it's pretty impressive, but it was the game lineup that concerned me. You know, the launch lineup was pitiful, to be honest with you, but they have got a steady feed of content throughout the year that's actually looking pretty good. You know, I heard from one of the guys on the Austin trip, Lionheart X10 to be more specific, that he played ARMS during some sort of press event. I can't remember where he said, to be honest, and he said it's actually pretty good. So, you know, when I eventually get a Switch, I'll probably be picking up ARMS. So, you know, it's interesting times for the Switch, and at the moment it's on track to actually beat the Wii, which is pretty damn impressive given how insanely popular the Wii was. And I have to give Nintendo credit for kind of doing the opposite of what they normally do and making sure there's enough units for everybody. You know, instead of doing the whole false scarcity thing that they allegedly did with the NES Classic, they've actually gone out of their way to ship units by plane rather than boat to make sure that they had enough units to meet demand. So to say the thing isn't hard to get hold of, because it kind of is, but that's just a good sign of a popular console, basically. You know, we also had availability issues with the Switch, and not the Switch, the Wii, and other such things as well. So I doubt Nvidia are going to be jumping into the console market any more than they already have, but it's definitely good to see that their gamble worked out, because, you know, Nintendo, as much as they make me scratch my head sometimes, they are overall a positive force on the gaming part of the gaming industry. On the YouTube side, not so much, you know, I'm not a big fan of them and their nonsense on YouTube, to be honest with you, but in terms of making games and in terms of the creativity that they have, they are Nintendo, you know, they are very unique, and their presence in the industry has definitely been missed. Obviously they haven't gone anywhere, but it's definitely been a lot less impactful because of how poorly the Wii U did. Anyway, that's me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.